Welcome to Boxing During Dinner, episode 38. I know it's been 38 episodes. It's the second one of the new year, I believe. And first off, before we start, I want to say happy birthday to Bernard Hopkins, who turned 47, not 89 like a lot of people think. But Bernard, still doing it at 47. You're amazing. Happy birthday to you, and happy 70th birthday to Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali still kicking strong after all these years. His 70th birthday, quite a milestone. So happy birthday to Muhammad Ali. But this is Boxing During Dinner. This is from our South Florida studios, our Miami studios, where it's sunny outside. It's beautiful. And, I'm here eating my Subway sandwich as usual. Next week, I promise, we'll have a little better food. I got some Coke here in a Dolphins cup. If I were to talk about the Dolphins now, it would be a whole different conversation, and it'll take 30 minutes because as a Dolphins fan, I suffer every week. But you know what? Boxing fans are suffering as well because no Pacquiao Mayweather, at least not yet. This past week, since we aired the last Boxing During Dinner, a lot has taken place. First off, Manny Pacquiao and his promoter, Bob Arum, trying to say that they would fight Mayweather in late May or early June because of this 45,000 seat arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Who gives a crap about the arena? If there's one thing I've learned throughout the years, if you want to get something built, it'll get built. I've seen stuff here driving around Miami, a building, a high-rise that's built within 3 months. Yet sometimes I see a house, it takes 2 years to be built. Why? It's just, if you put money into it, it'll be built. A 45,000 seat arena could be built in time for this fight. I'm starting to think that Arum and Pacquiao are just coming up with excuses not to fight Floyd Mayweather now, and that's just my humble opinion. Bob Arum has been a great promoter over the years. Manny Pacquiao's a big draw in boxing, but when you come out and say that you're not going to fight Mayweather May 5th, which is obviously the biggest fight in boxing that they can make in the last probably 20 years, and you say that you could fight in June, yet you're setting up a fight possibly against Miguel Cotto, a rematch, another top-ranked fighter. I mean, that just smells horrible because Pacquiao already beat Cotto, and much to David's dismay, he's a big Miguel Cotto fan. He loves Miguel Cotto, has a Miguel Cotto Echo t-shirt. As much as you love him, David, he doesn't deserve to fight Pacquiao again. I mean, in the scheme of things, you say, all right, it makes more sense than a Robert Guerrero fight. It makes more sense than a fight against Tim Bradley. Why? Because it makes more sense for Bob Arum. It's a fight against Miguel Cotto, a top-ranked promoted fighter as well. Arum and Pacquiao, all the proceeds go to them. They have options on Cotto. It makes perfect sense. And David, without being biased, without your Miguel Cotto love, because I know you love him strongly, and you wear his, like a little lock charm on your necklace with Cotto's picture. What do you think of this whole Cotto-Pacquiao possible fight?
All right, Armando, it's good to hear from you. I know you're having Subway, like you said. I'm actually cooking dinner tonight, and it's in the oven, well, behind over here, but it'll be here in due time. But I've got to agree. Regrettably, I agree with the fact that the Cotto-Pacquiao rematch is kind of a disaster when you consider the fact that the Mayweather fight could happen. But I do want to take issue before I even get into this with the fact that you're always hating on me for being such a Miguel Cotto lover. You make it seem like I'm just jocking this guy endlessly. I mean, I don't know where you're getting that idea or anything, as if like I'm in love with Miguel Cotto, but I'm excited for Miguel Cotto to have this fight, obviously. I still don't understand why you've got the impression that I'm obsessed with him, but I guess I am. The only two storylines that I can think of for this fight, number one is Cotto's chance at redemption, and that's it, I guess. So let's forget storyline two. And that only really becomes a storyline if this fight is fought in Cotto's weight class, as far as I'm concerned. At 145 pounds, I think Pacquiao definitely had, some physical advantages over Cotto in that fight. Now that Cotto's a full-fledged 154-pounder, he's brought his power up with him. He's won his 3 fights there by knockout. If this fight were somewhere even at a catch weight of 150 and up, then I think we're talking about a fight. But the fact that Manny Pacquiao is the cash cow of Top Rank, like you've said, they're not going to send him to Cotto at anything over 150 pounds. I would be shocked if this fight goes anywhere beyond 147-pound weight limit, and that's unfortunate because I think Cotto's gotten the short end of the stick from Top Rank by being forced into the Margarito fight that he didn't really want. Also, had to kind of budge a little bit on the weight. I think if this fight happens at 150 or above, there's an interesting chance that Cotto, who's looked a little bit better as of late, and then the chance that Pacquiao has looked a little worse as of late, worse being a relative statement, then maybe you have a competitive fight. But even I, as a Miguel Cotto apologist, would have to agree that Manny Pacquiao just has a style that is better than Cotto's when they're to face head-to-head. And despite the fact I want to see his redemption, I would unfortunately have to bet against him in that rematch. But I do have to agree with another point that you made, which was the fact that how is it that a temporary stadium, they're talking the difference between the beginning of May, which is May 5th, and then having this fight with Pacquiao and Mayweather at the end of May so they can construct a temporary stadium. I'm thinking, what is the difference? Maybe 3 weeks tops? That these guys can't somehow put it together? I mean, there's Mexicans not too far over in California that I'm sure could come in for $7 a day to build this temporary stadium. And even so, the city of Las Vegas and these investors, you don't think that they would put everything forward to make sure that that fight could happen so that they could make their money? It seems ridiculous to me, the fact that Bob Arum continues to posture and make up excuses for a fight that everybody except Bob Arum is 100% convinced he does not want to make. And unfortunately, at this point, I think people are starting to lose the excitement that they had a couple years ago when the possibility first existed. Now, frankly, I could care less if Mayweather and Pacquiao fight because of the emotional anxiety that you have to endure as a fight fan, thinking that the fight will happen and then it never does. I think for sure that, like you said, we're going to see Canelo Alvarez versus Mayweather, which is something we've been saying for a while, and then Pacquiao is going to be fighting Cotto, and once again, we don't get the fight that we want.
And David, I guess, those are all good points on your part. Being a Cotto fan, of course, you're going to probably say that he deserves a shot at a title. I mean, at Manny Pacquiao, and why not? I guess he's the 154-pound champion, and it is, like I said, it is better than Guerrero or Tim Bradley, but it's not Mayweather. As for Mayweather, thank God they're steering away from the Robert Guerrero thing. Like I said last week, I love Robert Guerrero. He's a great guy. If you go on the personal side, he deserves a shot at Mayweather, a shot at money. His wife Casey has battled leukemia for years. It's a nice story, especially if he comes and does something against Mayweather. I just don't think he's a worthy opponent for Floyd Mayweather. Not at this point of his career. He still has to beat somebody. He beats Tim Bradley, he could fight Mayweather. He beats Amir Khan, he could fight Mayweather or Lamont Peterson or something. But he still needs to prove himself. Now, the opponent that makes the most sense for Floyd Mayweather is Canelo Alvarez. Why? He's a Golden Boy promoted fighter. Golden Boy has been hired by Mayweather to come up with some opponents to negotiate the Pacquiao fight. If he doesn't fight Pacquiao, Canelo, he's a draw. He's a Mexican fighter. It's Cinco de Mayo weekend. It makes all the sense of the world because there's no other Mexicans. He already beat the crap out of Marquez. He's not gonna get De La Hoya to come out of retirement. At least I don't think he is. Chavez Jr. is too big. Sergio Martinez, as much as I love Sergio Martinez, he's Argentinian, and I think it'll actually be a competitive fight, and that's not what Mayweather's trying to do right now. Mayweather's trying to secure a fight that'll showcase him before he goes to prison, and then try to fight Manny Pacquiao. But he came out with these tweets calling out Pacquiao, David, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to take Mayweather at his word. Does he want to really make this fight for May 5th? Because, is he going to steer away from those steroid accusations? Because steroids or no steroids, I know you're of the same opinion. I've always thought Mayweather beats Pacquiao pretty easy.
Armando, yes, I agree. We're going to see Canelo versus Mayweather on May 5th, and good for both of them, because that's probably the second biggest money fight that can be made for Mayweather. It's a big money fight for Canelo Alvarez, who's already a gate draw, on his own. I think Mayweather washes him, every single day of the week cleanly in this fight. But like we've, said in weeks past, Alvarez is 21 years old. He's fighting the biggest name in boxing. If he loses this fight, so what? The exposure that he'll get to people who still don't know him is going to be incredible. He's a good-looking guy. He's young. He's arguably the next face of boxing if his skills turn out to be, legitimate against contenders at 154 pounds. There's a possibility of him fighting Chavez down the line, which makes that fight even bigger. this is the fight that's going to be made for Floyd Mayweather on May 5th. And then on June 9th, which is the rumored date for Pacquiao-Cotto, in the rematch that nobody, maybe except me, would be interested in seeing in Las Vegas. Literally a month apart, and I think that's just an embarrassment, the fact that these guys are going to fight 1 month apart from each other, but couldn't find a way to fight each other, which is ridiculous. And back to the other point that you made, let's stick with the hypotheticals here. Mayweather and Pacquiao fight even before the Marquez fight, which I think has a lot of people changing their tune about whether or not Mayweather and Pacquiao, or what the turnout is. You know, a lot of people thought maybe this is a toss-up fight and Pacquiao wins. And now the fact that we have, you know, Pacquiao on a poor showing against Juan Manuel Marquez, who's 38 years old, moving up in weight, and still, you know, on the eyes of many people, actually beat Pacquiao in the last fight. Now they're starting to realize that maybe he's human and that Mayweather is still somewhere above human. And he's just a sublime talent that very few people in the sport of boxing, maybe outside of Andre Ward, as far as talent goes, can touch him. I think Mayweather, you know, wins this fight with a little bit of ease in a way that'll surprise a lot of people, and it would probably be, frankly, a boring fight because, you know, Pacquiao just, I don't think he's gonna, you know, really lay a glove on him all that often. It's not to say that, you know, there won't be moments. There's always moments. Victor Ortiz had his moments against Mayweather, but never at any point did you think that fight was in doubt. And Mayweather, you know, whitewashed a 24-year-old, you know, prospect who's a hard hitter. I would argue that he can hit as hard or harder than Pacquiao. Of course, Pacquiao has the speed and you know, can punch at angles, but this is a fight that Mayweather wins, you know, going away. But I guess it doesn't matter because we're probably not going to see it.
Well, David, let's hope Mayweather-Pacquiao gets made sometime down the road. If not this year, next year, whenever, man. It's you know what? They could fight in prison. Why not? You know, I mean, I guess it could be ample space. You know, they could fight out there in what's a Folsom prison. Johnny Cash could come back from the dead, sing a few songs, and we'll play off that. But this weekend, David, Guillermo Rigondeaux against Rico Ramos should be a very good fight. If Rigondeaux doesn't make it boring, but should be an interesting fight for the WBA junior bantamweight title. And also on Telemundo, Luis De La Rosa against Ivan Meneses should be a good scrap. Telemundo always puts some good main events. You know, it's some fighters you may not have heard of, but they always come to fight. You know, these Mexicans are awesome. And you've seen Jesse Lozada on Boxing During Dinner, and he's been on here plenty of times, and he'll be calling the fights along with Rene Giraldo. But David, it's time to close it out here on Boxing During Dinner. Remember to email us, boxingduringdinner@gmail.com. Write us on Facebook and also on Twitter @BoxDuringDinner, and our webpage, obviously, www.boxingduringdinner.com. I know you're wearing your Cotto t-shirt, David, but you need to bundle up, man. I don't want you to get pneumonia or something. And if it's dirty, you know, you're living with mom now, have her clean it. Hi, Mrs. Berry.